want to thank you all for coming today. My name is Vince, and I'm joined by Kanchan. We're both friends of Zappa's, and I think most of you all know we're here today to celebrate the life of our dear sister, Burkina, also known as Sarai, or as some of us know her, Bibi. I kind of thought quite a bit about what to try to say to open things up, and decided to just speak from the heart and be extemporaneous. So I'll just start by saying I've known her dad, Zappa, a long time. We met in 1987 in the UC Berkeley, and he is truly, in every sense of the word, a brother from another mother. You know, we've been together ever since. We've pretty much grown up together. You know, we didn't have our early childhood development together, but from the age of 18 on, we've shared our adulthood, our path through adulthood together. And as a lot of you know, adulting can be challenging sometimes, but there's been a lot of joy, a lot of challenges, a lot of sorrows. We raised families together. We saw each other's children born. I met Burkina the day after she was born. They had a home birth. And I remember I was invited over the next day to see the new baby, and it was a very wonderful celebratory time. I think she was probably the first in our little cohort of brothers that I was hanging out with that day that had his first child, and I've watched her grow up ever since. And being like family, you know, she was like family to me. She was almost like a big sister to my daughter, Rabia, who's there in the audience. And, you know, it's challenging for all of us. I think it's important, though, as a community, to understand and recognize transitions when they happen. This is a transition. And I think I know Zappa well enough, and I know his kind of spiritual outlook to be able to say just a little bit that, you know, there is no such thing as death, really. There's change. Everything just changes. So this is another change, and I think it's important for the community to try to come together to make sense of that change and to, you know, stand up for our brother Zappa and support him through what's a very difficult time, him and his family, but also to really celebrate her. And as some of you know, in many cultures, you know, this type of transition, death, is not just a finality. It's something that, you know, she's moving on to another phase, another realm that we might not be able to know exactly what that means, what it looks like, but we do have everything that she left us here in the 24 years she was here. And she was a beautiful soul. She had a lot to offer the world, and she was a bright being that was just, you know, filled a lot of us with a lot of joy. And so, and she had a lot to, you know, look forward to the future. And as part of the people that helped plan this, we wanted to make sure that as a part of the theme for today, it's really to carry on her legacy, you know, the things, the vision that she had for, you know, what she wanted to see in the world and her role in it. And there's ways that we can all do that. Our job here, me and Kanchan, is to try to help hold space for all of us, you know, to process these feelings, to recommit, you know, to her vision, and to, you know, celebrate a transition that, you know, is challenging for our brother, but also important for us to stand up and you know, show that we're here for him, we're here for her, we're here to celebrate her. And so I'm not going to talk too much because I know there's a lot of people that have stuff to say, and so we want to move through it. Just a few shopkeeping things before I turn it over to Kanchan. Bathrooms, there's on both sides of the stage through these two doorways. You can get to bathrooms. If they're full, there's another one in the back there in the room for the repast. We're going to have some speaking, we're going to have some live music, we're going to have a slide show. And then afterwards, we're going to have a repast in the other room, and there's going to be some food and refreshments. So we encourage you all to stick around and be in community with us. So without further ado, I want to introduce someone else who is like my sister, someone that I love dearly, and I'm truly honored that Zappa asked me to be one of the folks here with Kanchan helping us, move through this together. So, Kanchan Dawn Hunter.
Thank you for those beautiful words. I don't know how I got so lucky to be asked to stand here, be about this experience with my friend, my dear brother Zappa, his family, Karina, Leo, Mimosa, Corin, everyone who loved Bibi so very much, including me. But I'm grateful to be asked. I'm honored, honestly, to be here and to be able to be of any kind of service at this time. I don't know what I would do if one of my children were to leave me. So I've been grieving a lot about this with you, for you, Zappa. I'm talking to you right now, and Leo, all of y'all, but really I'm talking to Zappa because I love you so much. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. And your daughter was one of the brightest, shiniest lights I've ever seen on this planet. I'm so grateful for any of the little bit of time I got to spend with her, which wasn't much, but I'll tell you this one story. The first time I met Bibi, there was a big afro-haired dude walking up San Pablo with a little tiny baby girl, bringing her to her mom at the Ecology Center where I worked in Berkeley. And that was my first time ever meeting Bibi and Zappa. And I was like, what? Who are these cool people? How come I don't know Zappa? And how come, this was before you, Leo. How come I don't know this cute little baby? But then I got to know this cute little baby, Bibi, who would come to the office, run around, be all talk about everything all the time, and with so much light and love and beauty. And I was just, my heart was just so open for her life. To be in her presence felt like such a grace, such an honor. And then every once in a while I get to see Bibi because Bibi got busy. Bibi got busy doing all kinds of things. And then the times that I did get to see her, I felt incredibly blessed. And so I just want to thank you, Zappa and Debbie, for bringing her into the world and letting us experience her life and her light. And I give thanks to Bibi for sharing herself with all of us and for being everywhere all the time right now and forever. I was so grateful for her and for you. I don't really know what else to say. I didn't really get to spend that much time with her the way I wished I could. I had dreams of teaching her herbal medicine. I had dreams of teaching her my passion for the garden and my passion for medicinal plants. And I had a little bit of that, but that's all I got. That's okay. I'll take whatever I can get. I know she's in good hands. Wherever she is, she's dancing, she's flying, she's shining, and she's probably a whole ass constellation in the sky. So give thanks. I don't know what else to say, but I love y'all. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. I'm like, I'm just gonna run over there and sit down. I'd like to invite everyone to clear your laps, if that's possible. Release your hands and your fingers, uncross your legs. Allow your feet to come in contact with the floor, the earth beneath you. I just want to support us all in a little bit of grounding right now and observing our sacred breath as it moves effortlessly in and out. In and out. And just imagine that your breath, which is effortlessly moving in and out of you, is the same breath that the earth herself breathes. And just allow yourself to settle into the seat that's supporting you. let's think about the gratitude we all hold for our lives, for the lives of those we love, and all the life around us. And the life of those no longer in physical form, but still alive, very much so. And let's just sit in this space for just a few minutes. Give your fingers a wiggle. Give your toes a wiggle. Come back to your breath and the beating of your heart. Notice that you've settled in, and welcome back to this sacred celebration. Ashe.
So we're going to open the ceremony with a song called Grandma's Lullaby by a group called Ulali.
Oh,
So thank you. We want to bring up the first speaker now, and that is Corin, Zappa's partner, and I think there's going to be a slideshow that she wants us, she's going to show as well. So, welcome.
Thank you. That was a beautiful song. Thank you so much. Let's see if I can move this.
Okay.
So it wasn't long before these words came to me. And as we celebrate Bibi, Burkina Faso, Bibs, later Sarai, the woman of many names, we know that she's in a place that's not weighed down by earthly measures. So she's not weighed down by time or space, by principalities or opinions, though we understand that by our earthly standards, she left too soon. So be assured that where she is, there is no time. She's eternal. And be assured that her soul has always known the glory and the bliss that she feels right now. And we're assured of that because she's expressed it to us through her divine essence, through her beauty, through her joy, through her bravery, and through her intelligence. So some of us feel marred knowing that the joy she brought and expressed to us also came with pain, brought about by imbalances unwarranted to her and that belong not to the rank and privilege and purity of her soul. She left us discovering her wings. So this is dedicated to Fly Sarai. This is the name that she had on her Instagram right before she passed. I call these the wings of Ma'at. These rings are propelled by the life she carries in her soul and the love we have for her in our hearts. So it's not surprising, right, how many names she had, because she's touched so many people. She had a way of touching the humanity within us all. So if we go to the first slide, no, I can't see you. Maybe I should come down. That would help. Yeah, you can go. You could keep clicking. Okay, yes. So the bravery, so much joy and inspiration, the blessings, the love, the courage. I mean, she loved courageously, right? I think one of the most courageous things she did was going back to school in the Redwoods College, and I know there's some folks there, right? Yes, representing. And you all have testimony to her boldness. She would tell it as it was. So all of these slides, and you can keep going, are her and her boldness. I just loved how, yeah, click on that. Oh, no, the picture's not there. Okay, the picture came later. There's a cartoon of her that Usaino did in all of her, wings and her cape going into, her and Zappa and Leo's in that, too. And they're fighting against injustice, all three of them together, finding the culprits. So, yes. So these are all pictures. You can keep going. I'll just tell you when to pause of her bravery. Yes. I think we might be getting to the next one. We'll pause right here. So then we have Bibi, the beauty. As we know, she lit up a room with her smile. And like I said, the only thing that's parallel to her beauty is nature. And in this little clip, we weren't able to play it with the slideshow, but I was able to just pull it up on my phone because I think it's so beautiful to actually hear her singing, for those of you who haven't. So she's in nature. Let's see if I can pull it up so you guys can hear it.
So, this is my garden. I thought maybe you might want to see
Can you
it.
guys hear that?
It's pretty
Okay.
cute. Anyway, I'm outside, and I walked away from my crazy family and off into the woods and the wilderness. Look, the woods are right out there in Elk. It's pretty nice. And so I thought that I would sit over here by the beans, and sing for you because I told you I would. Okay. Yeah, so here we go. Time to sing. Okay. I know your insides are feeling so hollow, and it's a tough pill for you to swallow. But if I fall for you, I might never recover. If I fall for you, I'd never be the same. And I really wanna love somebody. And I really wanna dance the night away. And I know we're only halfway there, but you could take me all the way. Take me all the way. And I really wanna touch somebody. I think about you every single day. I know we're only halfway there, but you could take me all the way. Take me all the way.
Speaks for herself, right? The unparalleled beauty, inside and out. You can keep moving the slideshow. That's on YouTube. I had to save that song of hers. Bibi the bookworm. And I've heard, and she's told me in her early years, she could always be found in a book, teaching herself music, going back to college. One of the most beautiful things that she's done, how many of y'all know she was working on a novel? Yes, and she would tell it from the character development to the environment to the setting, the detail, unbelievable. She was so well read. Shakespeare, I mean, goodness gracious, was it Hamilton? She knew every single scene. Yes. Narrated it, the history. Yes. So that was Beebs the bookworm. So y'all, we have the beauty, Burkina the beauty, Bibi the bookworm, Beebs the brave, Sarai fly, Ma'at. We have an opportunity for you all. I don't know how many of y'all know how she loved to ordain herself with bindis. If you all would like an opportunity to do that in her honor, there's bindis in the back and a mirror there. Yes. So I will leave it here, and I'm going to pass the microphone to her beloved, is it to you first, Vince? To her beloved brother who would like to share some words.
I'm Leo, Bibi's brother. I tried to prepare things to say. I tried to write poems and words and memories, and nothing felt good enough. There didn't feel like a right thing to say. But I have to keep reminding myself that there's no right thing or wrong thing to say. So I'm just going to speak off of memories that I have of me and my sister, memories that I have of things that she loved. The first memory that I have of my sister was, I must have been 3 years old or something. I lived with my dad and my mom on Ellis Street in Berkeley, and my sister and I were in the living room, and she had convinced me that she could pull off my toes if she pulled hard enough. And with every bone in my body, I believed her. So I got like this little rush of adrenaline, but also like I was hysterical in fear that she would really pull off my toes. And that was a game that we continued to play for a while, and luckily I still have all 10 of my toes. My dad, me and Bibi, and my Aunt Mimosa moved into a house on 48th Street in Oakland, really close to here. And my sister and I had spent a week or two up in Mendocino with my grandparents, and I came back with a pet snake that I caught when I was there. We named it Alice. And my sister had a pet hamster, and my snake ate the hamster. But my dad didn't want to see either of us sad or in a fight, so he picked me up from school, and then he picked my sister up from school, and then got us a cat. And and we still have that cat. Her name is Mittens. She lives with my dad. She's gone through, she's, seen Bibi and I grow up as much as most people have, maybe more than most people have. She's a really good cat. We didn't know what to name her at first. My sister wanted to name her Bloody Mary. My aunt wanted to name her Maggie. I just called her Cat. Yeah, and we all shared lots of love, We did not have a very big house. My sister and I were supposed to share a room, but my sister was a teenager. I'm 7 years younger than her, so she would always kick me out, and I would find myself sleeping in my dad's room. And eventually she would feel bad and invite me to come back into the room and play video games with her on her computer. And I guess those were some of the times where I really got the chance to bond with my sister. Since we had a big age gap, we spent lots of time doing our own separate thing. And the most time that we spent together was when I was really young or when I got to age like 15. So most of my like good memories with my sister come from when I was a lot younger. We were at my grandparents' house. We went there quite often. And like Corin was saying, you could always find my sister reading a book. She was always reading. And I remember that I told her that I didn't believe that she was reading all of the books she was reading. And I thought she was just pretending. So there was like an hour where I kept checking on her, asking her what the page of the book said and what she got out of it, and really tested out her reading comprehension. And it turns out that she really does read all of those books. And she was like it wasn't that just that she read books, but she wrote books, like Corin was saying. She was an extremely good writer. She loved creative writing. I remember that was always her dream, as long as I could remember, to be a writer of some sort, to be a writer and share stories about things that she could make up, things that were metaphors for experiences in her life. She was very good at it. I remember going to protests with her, climate strikes, protests. With my dad, we would do that. She was really into it. My sister could fight for what she stood for and would not back down. Like if she believed in something, she was going to make that apparent to anyone that did not believe in what she believed in, which is a quality that I really admire. And like for me, it's hard to disagree with someone that much, because she could like make a whole argument about it. It's like she was a lawyer, like really fighting her case. I remember driving with her. I don't remember where we were going, but there were people protesting abortion laws, and she was yelling at them and screaming at them, telling them that they were wrong and giving them her own peace of mind. Like that really reminds me of her character. She could have an impact on anybody. She would meet strangers, say hi to them, talk to them in the grocery store, and I'm sure that she left them having a better day. There was something about her energy and personality where she really cared about everyone. Like it didn't just seem like she cared about everyone, but she actually really cared about everyone. And she would, come home and tell me about this person that she met and some story that happened in their life. And I'm like, well, you just met that person today. Like, how do you know all these things? She's like, well, I had a 2-hour conversation with them. And I always admired that in my sister. She was a really good person, like she loved laughing and joking, and she also could be extremely serious and like very intense in a good way. Like she stood her own ground. When I was 6 years old or something, I did soccer in Mendocino. Like there was summer camp, and I went to the summer camp. Maybe I was older than 6, and I'm blind in my left eye, and it was very lazy when I was younger. And there were some kids making fun of it, and I just remember my sister, cussing the kids out, like a 8th grader cussing out some 1st graders. And that will always stick with me because, I've always been the younger sibling, and having somebody there to protect me like my sister was just this feeling of, like, I had this feeling of safety when I was with my sister. I adored my sister. Even after not seeing her for a very long time, my 8th grade graduation speech was about my sister. I saw her struggle, and then through the struggle, she would make extreme progress. Frederick Douglass said that there's no progress without struggle, and my sister proved that. She struggled and then used it to move forward. She made huge strides in the direction she wanted to. Like, I remember talking to her, maybe 3 months ago max, and she was telling me about how well she's doing, how happy she is, how she's got this internship and they went on a trip all together, and how she's doing so well in all of her classes. And every time she would come to visit my dad, she would be doing homework for hours throughout the day, like really just pushing herself to do the best she could. And then, my sister was a nerd, like a full-on nerd. When she wasn't doing homework, she would be video chatting, playing Dungeons and Dragons. She loved Harry Potter. She gave that love to me. I remember watching the first Harry Potter movie with my sister, and she recited every word for word. And I was like, will you please shut up? And we didn't get very far in the movie because I got annoyed. It was just like, whenever I was with her, I felt bliss. Like, I was just much more content. I think being without a sister, like even if she's moved out of the house, it felt a lot more lonely. And whenever she was there, it was like, okay, now it's us versus the parents instead of just me versus the parents. And that always helped me out. We would read together in my grandparents' garden. We would play the Pokemon card game. We could kind of do anything together. We would take walks through the woods and pretend we were spies. And even though my sister's 7 years older than me, I always said, feels like you're not that much older than me. I was like, you act just like me. And there's truth in that. She really did. She was younger in heart than she was in person, and she was also like extremely mature. Like she was younger at heart, she could be playful, but she always was thinking of these big world problems, like how she felt that what was going on was messed up in the world, and how she could make a change, and what she's going to do differently, and that if she does that differently and 10 other people do it differently, then a big change will be made. And she really believed in that. She always believed in me. After mistakes I made, after, just like things that I did not need to go through, she would always believe in me. She would be texting me paragraphs saying about how much she loves me, and just a bump in the road, and you're going to get back up on your feet and do great again. Every time without fail. A couple months ago, I was looking through my text with Bibi, and she would send me these very long paragraphs just checking in, always asking how I am, always talking about how much she cared about me, talking about what she's doing, what's going well for her, what she's struggling with. And that was the bond that we had. I was able to talk to her about anything that was really on my mind, which I haven't really had with anybody else. It's a different type of relationship than I've seen with anybody else. And I'm really going to miss that, and I have really been missing that. But I also, remind myself that, energy never dies. I believe that my sister's probably standing in this room right now somewhere and listening to the things we said about her and going, I knew he would bring that up, or making some snappy remarks, like she would do, and also just taking it all in. And I'm going to continue to do whatever I can to make my sister proud of me. I know she already is, and that she will continue to be, but can always do better. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Corin, and thank you, Leo. And, I should have mentioned at the beginning, when I said that Bibi practically grew up with us. Leo, as well, my daughter had a little brother and a bigger sister, like right between them with Zappa's kids. They were frequently at our house quite a bit, sleepovers. And I remember when you and Rabia, Leo, used to do those elaborate stories, the plays. What was the character that you guys used to make up? Who? Pork Chop and who? Lolo and Pork Chop. And it was wonderful, all three of them, when they were running through. And Leo, we're all here for you. The whole community really reaches out to you. I know it's difficult, but we're all here for you, okay? All right, we're going to do another little song. Kanchan, you want to come up? This is a song by Sweet Honey in the Rock, which many of you are probably familiar with them. It's called Breaths, and we thought it was really perfect for this occasion. So.
Listen more often to things than to things. Listen more often to things than to things. It's the ancestor's breath when the fire's voice is heard. It's the ancestor's breath in the voice of the water. Those who have died have never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the broken rocks. They are in the crying grass. They are in the sorry. But I'm gonna do that verse over, okay? Those who have died have never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning wood. They are in the crying grass. They are in the morning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things and to beings. Listen more often to things and to beings. To the ancestor's breath when the fire's voice is heard. To the ancestor's breath in the voice of the water. never let the dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast, they are in the wailing crowd. They are with us in the home, they are with us in the crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to speak. Listen more often to things than to speak. Is the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard? Is the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water?
So there's many people here that would like to say something because we all have memories of Bibi. The next folks I want to bring up are the Kafin family. And I also want to make a special thank you to Alicia Kafin, who was really instrumental in pulling this event together. You know, there was a core group of about 5 or 6 of us working on it. And at times it was pretty emotional, you know, because we knew we wanted to step up and do this for our brother, but we all, you know, just couldn't believe that we're sitting here planning a memorial for Bibi because none of us thought this day would be coming. And Alicia really stepped in there at a certain point when we needed to get some more organizing and movement happening. So thank you for that. And they also all knew Bibi, you know, her whole life. So you guys are ready to come on up. We'd like to hear a few words.
Well, I'm speaking from the heart, but I have to read it. So, baby Burkina was born 4 days after Ben. Is it on? You know, okay. She was born 4 days after Ben, and so Zappa, this is Ben, this is Peter. Zappa and Peter and I entered the world of parenthood at the same time. And Bibi was Ben's first friend. And she was a wonder to behold, as long as we knew her. So as I thought about what to say today, I really began to understand that one individual can only know another from a personal perspective. Other people knew other sides of her, other people knew more, and different things about her. But so for me, when I thought about what to say about Bibi, it was like a picture book in my mind. So you can imagine that for each line, a page turns. So once upon a time, this child was born. And as she grew, it became clear that she rode on a beam of curiosity, with her searching eyes glimmering and her angel hair following. Gazing at the bay with her grown-ups, the baby reached for the wind, squinting her eyes at the gusts and gulping in the world. At a birthday, she grabbed a balloon and she towed it along as she toddled, with silver mylar crackling, but with her wave to the sky, it flew away. She knew where the cookies were. She found unpredictable things to climb and reach them. This little one taught people how to play and how to be friends, and she learned by teaching. More than one person she taught how to love, even as she grew. When she borrowed books, people were happy she had them. She got wallflowers dancing.
She was described as staggeringly beautiful, and she wore it well, but her whole self was fascinating. As she moved through the world, and when she came to our houses, she left things behind, but she left with our blessings. She walked protests, she read the faces and the signs, and she wrote. She struggled, and she recovered, and she struggled, and she recovered. Sarai really saw people, and she made them feel seen. She asked the questions. She was a seeker, reaching in and reaching out. And she studied humans, and she said, "It's amazing, I love it." And not the end. Because the story is not over, although Sarai, Bibi, is not here to write more pages. So my hope is that today we're all learning something more about her and the way she changed our worlds, but it's not the end. If we choose to take it on, it's on us to hold her story and to find our own ways to add to that story and help it continue. And if we do, lucky us. Lucky us, this is something that we get to do, and we have her to boost our efforts as we move through time, doing our own work. So she inspired me to write something else, and I hope you'll indulge me while I read it. So this, here is my true story. When she passed by on the day she passed, a family of redwoods stood in an arc, forest on one side and field on the other, heads above it all, looking up and around, reaching for each other and reaching for the light. She flew, landing on top of the tallest tree, I think looking to say hello, goodbye, I love you. But she didn't know her own strength. And when she took off again, the tree tip broke, toppling to the dirt below, taking branches with it and deleting fences. You could see its heart glowed red, its bark, peeled off in places by hungry, careless creatures, was growing back, the tree healing itself around the edges of the wounds, and still the tree had grown, but it also broke, and here it was against the soil where it appeared incongruous, and she had flown. And here was this shattered thing, part here, part there, kind of blocking the path, too heavy to move. Like I said, true story. Flowers bloomed out from under the branches, though. The fence is still broken, and the trunk itself, just close to the heart, is now sprouting. So I really want to invite you to use the art supplies in the back. They came from Bibi's room, they were hers. And there's even some ideas if you're stuck for an idea. We would love to have your self-expression. That's kind of what she was about. So I think Ben wants to share something.
I see a lot of faces that I don't know, and that makes me really happy. Because it means that y'all knew Bibi. One of my favorite parts about Bibi was getting to introduce her to other people, because it was such a unique energy that everyone needed in their life. And a good part about that was like being able to introduce Bibi and then kind of like step back and let the magic happen. But I have a poem to read. It's not a poem that I wrote. It's a poem by Robert Frost. I read it in the book called The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And I don't really know if Bibi knew this poem, but it reminds me of her. Nature's first green is gold. Her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower. but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay. And if anybody was gold, Bibi was. Thank you. I'm starting to think writing something out would have been good. I have some notes. I'd like to speak from the heart. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'd like to thank folks for recognizing Bibi in her life and remembering her in her death and celebrating her in this transition. Looking around, there are a lot of people here who dedicated their time and their energies and their resources to creating spaces where Bibi felt safe and supported and cherished, and that was something that was often elusive for her to find and difficult to maintain. I just want to acknowledge the work that people did in this room to help her find that kind of peace where she could. Shout out to the College of the Redwood folks who are here. I was on campus shortly after her passing, and they had some support dogs there to help the students and to help kind of deal with all this. I don't know who else went, but I went. I like dogs. I was thinking the right word. I wouldn't really say that they've mastered mindfulness because they're dogs, but their sense of the presence and of being in the moment is something that strikes me a lot. And one of the handlers said something to me, and I don't think I shared this with Zappa, but the handler himself had lost a child a few years ago. And he said what you often hear, which is it's something that it's not something you get over, it's something you work with. But he said that the trick is to turn a millstone, like the kind you wear around your neck in the metaphor, into a foundation stone and to build from there. I liked it. It was a little pithy. That's part of why I didn't share it at the time. I don't think it was Zappa, but it's making a lot of sense to me now. There's a lot of brokenness. My heart is still broken. But there's a lot of love in this room, and there's a lot of solidness in this room, and there's a lot of solid feelings, and a lot of assured feelings around Bibi. And I'm hearing a lot of consistent things from people in terms of what she meant to them, and how sure they were about how good of a person that she was. And I'm thinking that together, and the things that we can do to support each other is part of the work that converts this millstone into something that's solid enough to be a foundation stone. And so it's my hope that we can continue to find ways to strengthen these stones, not so they weigh less because they're not going to, but so that there can be something that we build upon and not something that continues to pull us down. So again, I would like to thank everybody for coming and for being Bibi's friend and being supportive and for being her family. And again, especially for creating spaces where she felt safe and where she could be the shining light that we all seem to understand that she was. I guess that's it. Thank you.
So now we have some very special guests, and my apologies if I got a little out of order there, because I think next we were going to bring up the College of Redwoods folks, but the order's changed around a couple times. So, but it's really special to have some of her friends, people that spent some of her last time with her up in that beautiful setting up in Humboldt. So we're ready. Whoever wants to get going, we're welcome this guys to the stage. Come on up.
Hi, my name's Tony. I consider Sarai one of my best friends in the whole world. I'm just gonna read it okay. Many of you knew Sarai as Bibi, but I only ever knew her as Sarai, and Sarai was one of those people who would drop everything to make sure you're okay. She knew if I was having a hard time by just looking at me. She saw the good in everyone, and she made sure no one ever felt small, even though she always stated how she felt small herself. I tried my best to make sure she felt as important as she truly was. I never understood how someone who's been through so much could be as genuinely kind-hearted as she was, and how anyone could ever look down on someone like her. Sarai, I hope you know that you were never small. You could fill a room with love and happiness, and you could warm people's hearts just by smiling at them. No one small could ever do that. There's no one in this entire world that could replace the gap that's in my soul after losing her. I only knew her for 6 months, and I got closer to her than I have with people I've known for years. We saw each other. We both related to each other in ways that neither of us could relate with anyone else. She never let me talk down on myself, and I did my best to make sure she didn't either. She had a lot of demons in her past that were consuming her, but even though she was surrounded by clouds of darkness, her soul shined brighter than anything in this entire universe. Sarai was ethereal, pure-hearted, loving, compassionate, caring, every single positive word you can think of. We went through hell and back together, and we stuck by each other's sides through it all. I was lost before I found her, and she pushed me in the right direction. But my whole life is now derailed without her presence, but I know she wouldn't want me sulking, but she'd want me to live for the both of us, so I will. But there's so many things I wish I could have said to her, and so many memories still needed to create. We all know how Sarai dreamed really big, and I was lucky enough to be a part of her dream. She wanted us to move to New York together and live our lives floofing around in the city. She said she was going to wait for me to get out of college before starting her life because she wanted me to be there every step of the way. She was amazing, and she was a floofer. And for those of you that didn't know, floofing was a word that we created for her because she was never here or there, but everywhere. And I believe that her energy surrounds us all as I speak. Sarai, I'll love you until my last heartbeat, and I'll miss you until my last breath. You had a whole galaxy inside of you, which shined brighter than all the stars combined. You always said how you never felt human, and how you were truly a fairy, how you always wanted wings. And I know right now you're flying through the universe blissfully because your wings are now real. I'll love you forever. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for creating our little family. None of us would be who we are today without you, and none of us will forget the mark you left on our hearts.
Hi, I'm Ella. I was Sarai's roommate, and she was one of my best friends. She was an amazing person. The first day I met Sarai, she welcomed me and all of us into her life. She created a family of kids that danced together, laughed together, and grieved together. Sarai created a community wherever she went. She had the ability to look into someone's eyes and make them believe that they belonged, that they were special, and that they were loved. Every part of Sarai shined. She adorned herself in necklaces and bracelets and glitter that I still have all over my clothes. I remember one of our first nights together, I woke up to Sarai blasting K-pop and expertly applying her Hecate lipstick. She saw me open my eyes and she floofed right over to me. And she just spilled everything that excited her in that moment, everything that was in her head. She was like, Ella, thank God you're awake. And just ran over and told me everything that she had to say, and I loved it. She was never not interesting. That was Sarai. She was never bored. She wasn't lazy. She lived every second passionately, and she inspired all of us to do the same. She understood me, and I understood her. And we would talk and laugh for hours past when we should be sleeping. We would dance till morning when everyone else had gone to bed. I dream of having one more night with Sarai, one more night of playing, of being free, just her and I. I was always filled with love from Sarai, and I know she felt that love back. I miss my friend, my kindred soul, the most beautiful fairy. I know she's watching all of us grow and helping us to heal the hole left by her absence. Sometimes on an especially beautiful evening sunset, I can still feel her, glittering and glowing like she always did. I know it'll be a long time before I can see Rai again, but I look forward to finally seeing her wings. I'm betting they're purple.
Hi, I'm Max. Sarai really created a bubble for us that we still live in. And it's just hers, you know? Sarai was the biggest ball of light in my life. She dwindled like a star and eventually exploded like one. And exploded she did, but we'll look up and we'll still see her. She was millions of light years away from us. Her light still continues to shine down on us, and it forever will.
I am beautiful and contain a multitude of forms. Sarai once said this to me, with the addition that this was kind of hard to remember sometimes. And of this vast multitude, I saw Sarai as a fairy. She was not of this world in the way that she would hover just above the ground, but this ground is not made for hovering, and as such, sometimes her feet would scrape the ground and it would hurt. However, she would also hover in the way of mist, shaded tendrils of thick fog reaching playfully towards sparkle. She was not of this world in the way that she was adorned in clicking chains and singing beads, and high voices and bountiful skips, trailed by fast, tiny light. And though she would floof in the direction of intricate treasure, any object held in her pockets would tumble off, unnoticed, in all the commotion that entailed our Sarai. I'm so glad that I got to know her, and the way of the sheer wonder and gratitude felt when a beautifully rare butterfly sticks around for you to watch her for a moment longer than owed. Sarai and I shared many lessons with each other, for I did what I could to experience her brilliance. One that stands out now is that chaos may really just show complexity. Something that I'd like to brag about her again for is her words. With hers, when I felt the most like a poet, as we learned each other's minds. It can never be said that Sarai's mind was possible to know in full, but what I did know was how inconvenient it was for her to be human. It's for this reason that I know that she's here now today with us, for she would never miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience this world without the drag that comes with this form. When I see her now, I consider what it's like to occupy the mind of a slow, peaceful lilac as it dances with the wind, or as a quick, purple paper butterfly dashing easily through space. But most, I miss my friend, and I'm so glad to have known a fairy.
The first time that I met Sarai was at a College of the Redwoods craft night that my roommate decided that she wanted to throw, and I got convinced to go down there. And we were doing embroidery. And I taught her how to do the basics of that little thing, and she initiated this conversation with me because she wanted to embroider this woman that she thought was just absolutely beautiful and embraced femininity and all that she believed in. And she was like, if you could choose any color to be, why not purple? Why not something fun, different? Like, why would you choose something that everybody's seen all the time? And from that day, we were practically inseparable. She ended up going back to my room with me like 2 hours later, and I was just like, I think I have something for you that fits your style so much better than it fits mine. And I gave her this necklace that I had gotten, and I thought, I'll never wear it. And she did not take that off for 2 months. And I knew that there was something about her that was just so amazing that I didn't want to let go. And I got to spend my whole spring semester with her, and we went on this little summer road trip that we all got terribly sick on. And She was my deciding factor on going back to college, because I decided that I got to meet people, I got to make friends, and this person was worth it to just give it another shot. And we had classes together, and it was wonderful, and we went all over. We went to waterfalls, we went to the mountains, and just embraced everything together, and it was just so beautiful. Yeah. There was a time that we were in the common room of our dorm building, and there were some football boys that were just being boys. And she decided to pick them apart psychologically and challenge everything that she did not believe in. And just sit there and have this debate. Why do you think this? Okay. And then explain to them why they're wrong. And eventually got fed up and decided, oh, well, do you want to spar with me? And it immediately turned into, I'm going to battle you from the brains to I'm going to battle you with the bronze. And it, she was just amazing. Yeah. Oh my God. Thanks.
Thank you all. That was wonderful. It was really touching. It was great to, have people from her life, that could give us another side of Bibi that maybe some of us didn't see. So this generation has got so much ahead of them. So we have to all be here for them, and support the next generation of youth. So thank you so much for being here and making the trek all the way down from Humboldt. So now we're going to open it up. And if there's any other family or friends that want to come up and say a few words to honor Bibi or share some memories, please come and take the podium. I know somebody's got a little speech in them that they're just waiting to come out. It's just, you need that little oomph, I said, all right, we got someone coming, good.
I'm Corin's mother. I think one of the things that all of us are experiencing today is that the Bibi that we didn't know, the one who's a wonderful little child, or the one who's the bookworm, or the wonderful college student. I just have a few things about Bibi in my life, and I'll read what I wrote. Okay. Bibi was the member of the family who was as excited as I was about Hamilton. I knew every word. Bibi knew every word. We went to see Hamilton together. It was delightful. I just loved it. At that time and other times, I remember her unapologetic enthusiasm, her laughter, her openness, and the almost palpable love between her and her father. I saw how he loved and cared for his daughter. To Zappa, I say, Bibi's love will never leave your heart, and your heart will go on. Thank you.
So I just received a message that my amazing daughter would like to not only say something, but she wants to send Bibi off with a little bit of music for her too. So I think we have time for that. But you want to say something first? This is Rabia, my lovely and intelligent and amazing daughter, and one of I can't help but brag. Also, one of very close to Bibi since birth. So.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see you all here. There's so many faces I haven't seen in a really long time, and yeah, Bibi was so beautiful and so creative. So I figured the only way to properly send her off, to know that I could still communicate with her in some ways with art, and I always looked up to her with how creative and artistic she was, and I think we just come from a really creative community, and I loved celebrating that kind of creativity with her. I always hung out with Leo more because we were closer in age, but Bibi was like our big sister who participated in her skits with Grandma Lola and Pork Chop and like whatever. Those were super weird, but they were so fun. So yeah, I thought I'd just play a little piano for her.
Somebody else? Aha, we have Karina.
Hello. I am Karina. I'm Leo's mom, lover of Biebs. And I'm both going to read something that she wrote and also say a few words that I didn't prepare. I think because I've been thinking about what I wanted to prepare. And I have known Bibi since she was 4. And when I think of her, what is most present for me is her intense, intense spark of aliveness. Her flash of spontaneity and creativity. And anytime that I attempted to put that to paper, it felt incongruous. And this morning, what felt most resonant for me was the simplicity of what a profound privilege, what a sacred privilege it has been to witness, to have the privilege of witnessing someone over these different passages of time, from that incredibly precious picture, which I remember where we were on 4th Street, where she's looking up with her toothless smile, to times in the woods, to times of struggle, to her fierceness, to finding her footing, to her light dimming, to her light coming all the way back on. And just feeling so privileged to be able to witness that is sacred. And I feel so grateful to know how loved she is in this moment, in all of these moments across time. All of the hearts here, to hear and to witness the College of the Redwoods, all of you holding her, that she landed in such beloved community, is a gift. Stained glass window. And so the moonfish wades through miles of liquid stars, just to be there when her eyes will finally open, when she is ready to dwell in this realm with the rest of the kindred spirits that walk back and forth between the tangled, blue-eyed gazes of the beyonders. Indulging her whims, she flits to the masses and alights on top of the very mist that used to entrap and entangle her. tortured scales that glint silver, then bronze in the light reflecting off the stained windows that surround all of her kind. Wrapped only in black satin ribbons, blatantly exposing all of her evident flaws. She was born to the sky and the sea alike for the sole purpose of outer alignment, for the clouded expanse we all mistakenly call home, when in fact it is she who calls us her daughters. It is not the cruel sun or the oblivious earth, but merely a misty wanderer.
Thank you, Karina. We have time for a few more, and then we're going to close out with some more music and do the repast. But if somebody else wants to share some thoughts, Lila, come on up.
Hi, everyone. So I didn't really prepare anything. So I met Zappa in the 90s, and shortly after is Rakina's mother. And we spent many years doing art together. And I was really blessed to be at Rakina's home birth and was able to witness her first bright light into the world. And I truly believe she was created and born into love and always has that love. For the first 5 or 6 years of her life, I was more involved in her life. And some of the things that I really remember were just the delightful baby chub she had. She just was rolls of beautiful chub. And she was just such a cuddly, lovey baby. And then I also, listening to everyone talk now, I see how a lot of that beginning time with her was about reading and drawing and spending time on the floor and playing. And so now I see that she's kind of carried that on, and it's so beautiful to hear that that's such a deep part of her life. I really just remember her being so determined, so insightful and energetic as a young baby, and then even moving in the times of life that I have spent with her. And she truly lit up the room. I didn't spend much time with her in her younger teen and adult life, but was really amazed to see through Facebook and through people and through Zappa that she really carried on the political side and the artistic side, and just really that journey for her kind of flourished, and she made it her own. And I can tell, I can say that she's left an imprint in my life, and I can truly see how she has left an imprint on so many of your lives. And it's hard to see such a beautiful person be not here physically, but I do believe that her spirit is with all of us, and and like I said, that imprint of her will carry on with all of us. And so it's really beautiful to hear the younger generation being here and loving her and hearing those times that you had with her. I can just tell how much she was loved by everyone and how much love she gave to everyone. So I'm thankful to be a little part of that at some point in her life.
mic is still open. Somebody would like, does anyone else want to get up and say something?
Hello, everybody. This is very new for me. I had the pleasure of meeting Bibi when we went to OSA together just down the road. And man, is she unique. She's one of the most beautiful people that I've ever had the privilege of knowing, and as I'm sure you guys know as well. Her ability to include everybody, to make everybody feel so loved and so seen and so worthy, regardless of anything, ethnicity, background, social status. Her ability to be put in any city or town and bring community together, bring people together that don't feel like they were worthy or they had that. I've never seen in anybody else. Regardless if she was in Oakland or she was in Mendo or she was in college, she's always with us. And she's the most nomadic spirit that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing as well. And that never changed through the years that I knew her, whether I was blocks away from her or miles away from her. We always held contact in some way, shape, or form. And I'm always thankful for the time that I've had with her and with Zappa and watching Leo grow up, which, may I say, you were quite the man now. I remember you were with glasses and very little boy, and how much Bibi loved you. And all the times that we've shared and how she has touched so many people and so many lives. I know we will all miss her very much, but I believe as a nomadic spirit, she has moved on to the next chapter of her divine destiny. And for that, I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. I didn't think I was going to speak because I've just been in pretty bad shape, and I figured this would be, I'd probably be a puddle, but I guess having everyone here and hearing the love, and I feel good at this time. I know it's going to be a really long journey without the kid. We were like joined at the hip, and it's hard, very hard to not have her, calling me every day, or me calling her and hoping she'd call me back, but she usually did pretty regularly, so it's a big hole. And I also know that it's been an amazing blessing and the most profound thing to be her dad and to have shared in this journey, and that we continue to share. There's so many things that I could say, and I will continue to say those things through different means, continue to write, to be in touch with people. I think what I know, what I'm hoping and dreaming and I know will happen is that Bibi's, Sarai's memory lives richly in all of us, and that you will continue to share your memories of her with me, because I know I'm going to need that, the sustenance of people remembering and celebrating her, to keep me going. I am knowing and calling on and asking for the community to be there for Leo as his family, and to be, his big sister energy that since Biebs isn't here, so please just keep in touch with the kid here, and you know, we all have you. I'm going to plan, I know we're going to keep the things going. Bibi and I had our Black to the Land project that we kind of dreamed up together when we went up to Mendocino 8 or 10 years ago, and I'm going to keep going with that, and I'm going to be asking for people to help with that, and plan on compiling a lot of her writing and making a book out of that and putting that out there, and just whatever, you know, whatever we know, the dreams that she had, I just want them to keep going and keep living on, and I want to see us stay tight as a community, as I know she brought us all together. So let's stay together, you know. So, and thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it.
Well, it was probably a fitting way to kind of cap things off with we hearing from Zappa. And let me just say, too, you know, that we all are here to celebrate Bibi, but I also just want to make sure everybody knows, and everyone here who knows Zappa knows that he's like one of the greatest guys you'd ever want to know. And so, I mean, truly, this town has a lot of all kind of characters, and you know, most people know that if there's anyone who's really just down to earth and real humble and, you know, open-minded and there for people, it's Zap. So this tragedy happening to him, you know, is also, we really feel for him, because nobody should ever lose a child, but it happens. So it's something that we all have to do, and we knew that today was going to be challenging emotionally, but I also think it's important for us to face life and all that it has to offer, which includes the transition of death. So I think it was important for us to come here and have this time together and support Zap and Leo and Karina and Corin and the family to honor her, and I'm honored to be a part of that. And as I've said, I loved her like a daughter, you know, so it's been hard for me too. So, but thank you all for coming. And I know we talked at the beginning about carrying on her legacy, so I think you probably have heard a lot about her over today. So if there's some piece of that, she was loved nature. So, you know, she would have cared a lot about the environment and our world, which unfortunately, you know, the people in power are not, you know, respecting the earth as they should, you know, and I think Bibi would want us to acknowledge that and do what we can. Black to the Land is a project Zap and her were working on together. That's one way we could support that vision. I actually saw her the last time up in Mendocino on the land that he's looking at to use for that purpose, and she was telling me about her eco-futurist novel. And I told her how I had just written one as well, and she was so excited about that, and we had some shop talk about writing and our different visions of an eco-utopian future. And so that's the one way I'm going to honor her memory, is by going on ahead and finishing my eco-utopian future book. So, and we all have heard what a bright energy she was, how loving she was, and I remember that from the day, like when me and Zap were living together out in East Oakland, and she, you know, was frequently at our house at that age, and she was just this boundless little just ball of energy that would come over that was just so bright and just so happy, and would just, for a bunch of brothers, you know, that didn't have that kind of energy often, it was a real refresher to have that. And she was loving, and she was open to everybody. So I would challenge us all to try to carry on those things, to stay loving, stay open, you know, respect the earth, and whatever other way, if you all know her personally, that you can help carry on her legacy, that's what we're asking to do. And then we're going to finish with a closing song. Kanchan, did you want to come on up, and do you want to say something before we do the last song yourself?
it's just been an honor to be a part of this, a celebration of such a beautiful, amazing being. I really wish I had more time with her, but I'm grateful for the time that I had. I want to say I love you, Zappa. I love you, Leo. I love you, every family member. I'm so grateful that y'all brought this being into the world so she could have her fireball life, even just for a little while. And I just want to say she's still here. She's everywhere now. She still is all the things y'all spoke about. She's all those things still. That's never going to change. It's just going to get bigger and brighter. So it's an honor. And thank you for all of this. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Please stick around afterwards and join us in the next room for some food and drink. you all so much for coming. We love you all. We love you, Sarai, wherever you are. And so let's break bread and be in community together. And thank you once again for coming.